Hey,
Looks
what do you?
like that worked.
It actually worked. Oh man, this fucking thing,
Technology, man.
gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
Hey there, Jets Nation. Welcome back to One Jets Pod. Whether you're tuning into our video content or joining us on our audio-only platforms, we've got you covered. If you're enjoying what you hear or see, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't just gently tap, but smash that bell icon to stay notified whenever we drop new content. Also, we love comments and 5-star ratings. Thanks again, Jets fans. Now together, let's fuel the green and white passion. Let's go, Jets.
Welcome to Jet Life Stadium.
Hey, what's going on, Jet Nation? This is Randy with the One Jets Pod, and welcome to the One Jets Pod Show, the podcast. We are joined here by my new co-host, ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan, aka the One Jets Pod's very own JD. Jonathan, what's going on, brother?
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's having a good time out there, and looking forward to talk about these new uniforms.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you saw a little bit in the intro. I mean, I'll be real with you, dude. For the last 5 years, this is what we've been. Oh, wrong one. That's my bad. That's my bad. Actually, I don't think I uploaded that one. Anyways, we all know what jerseys we've been wearing the last 5 years. Garbage, man. And I made a joke on Twitter. It wasn't that funny, but it was truthful. And we would just listen to those fucking uniforms, Jonathan. They would have told us how bad the next 5 years were going to be.
I felt it. I felt it when the reveal was terrible. I remember JB Smoove coming the day before, hinting. I thought we were going to get like this grayscale kind of uniform. I was excited because I think that year they had almost this grayscale kind of jersey. Yep. So I thought, oh, we're going to get something like that, something different. And then when I saw the logo being barely anything different and how just everyone was bummed out at the reveal, I felt it too.
Absolutely.
I felt it too.
I'll tell you, man, ever since Nike took over, when Reebok lost the deal, it just seemed like the uniforms were, it just seemed like shitty quality. I mean, even the Jets, when they recreated the Jets with the Nike colors and all that stuff, it was like a dull green, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I instantly recognized, I'm like, that's not jet green. That's not even Hunter or Forest green. I don't know. That's like puke green, dude.
Yeah,
and then the one spot where the green actually was like the original green was right there in that little gut area where that little mesh part was.
And then when they would sweat, it would make like this two-tone color.
It was garbage, dude. But I'll give Nike their flowers, man. I mean, they came with it on these new jerseys, man. And we're going to go ahead and get right into these, ladies and gentlemen. Check these bad boys out. Good God.
Gorgeous.
I mean, gorgeous. And that's with the effects on it. We'll take the effects off, and that's kind of what they look like in regular lighting. I mean, I love the green, man. I mean, I believe it's slightly lighter. I think it's a little slightly lighter than the previous green. What do you think?
Yeah, if I remember watching the explanation by the Jets media group, I think they were calling it Legacy Green instead of Gotham Green.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you on Twitter that I was hammering. No, we had the right green. The uniform was wrong, but I'm pretty happy with this color green. I gotta say. I'm glad.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm actually also glad with the helmet. I was worried about it not being metallic. Me personally, I was a big fan of that all the way back from the Color Rush uniforms when we had like that metallic stripe and the metallic logo on the side. Yeah. So for me, the green definitely hit.
No, I agree with you. The one thing I did like about the previous uniform was the green and the white. I mean, it was a nice looking white, that spotlight white. And that green, man, that it was beautiful. It resembled kind of that early, that early jet color from when we actually took over that Legacy logo back in the 70s. Yeah. Maybe not as light as the original, but it was close, man. It was right there. It was teetering Kelly green, dude.
Yeah, it's like right in between. Yeah, right in between.
So I give those uniforms that that amount of props, and that's about all they're getting because the rest of it was trash. Like I said, the white and the green were beautiful. We're gonna go back to these real quick. I mean, I feel like the white's probably the same. I want to talk about the black ones real quick. Now, I'm not saying these are horrible. I don't think they are. The only reason I don't like the all black is the green. And it's not because of the color green. It's for me, it's the same thing like when I watch the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. When I look at Freddy Krueger, dude, and for a lot of people, it's meant to be that way. I have a hard time looking at his sweater. His colors kind of blend for me, the red and the green. It almost when I watch it, it's like looking at almost like a complete red sweater. Like I hardly see the green. It fucks with my eyes. So it's the same thing with the black and the green. I just wish there would have been some white where the green is. That's just me, but I mean, I got no problem with the overall design because I mean, dude, that's the legacy uniform in black, bro. So I got no problem with it other than the green inside the black.
I mean, I kind of agree with you. I do love the black, so it doesn't actually have that issue with my eyes. I kind of like the white with the green outline. I'd like that little touch for the numbers.
Yes.
But I saw somebody Somebody posted an old jacket that had the white and green stripe. This white and green stripe that's on the old uniforms from Reebok and Nike. I guess with the right color green, and I think that might have actually worked. So instead of being the two green stripes, two white stripes with maybe green in the middle, I don't know. Maybe that would have been overkill.
That might have worked too. Absolutely.
I felt like
but with
the black.
We got us a comment here. Matthias Simon, JETS Jets. Matthias Simon on my channel. That's an honor, dude. So going back to these uniforms, man. So I want to kind of go over the logo real quick. Now, I know you saw on X, dude. All these motherfuckers sitting here saying, I don't see the difference. Like, how do you not see the difference? First of all, we got a solid stripe on the pant. There wasn't a solid stripe before. The jerseys had New York across the fucking chest. We don't have that no more. The logos are obviously fucking different. Like, I don't understand. Like, I can understand maybe if you just glanced at them, you see the same colors, okay. But if you actually take the time to look at it, you'll realize that, yeah, these aren't. Like, you literally had to just watch the Jets' first game. You're like, oh, it's the same one.
Yeah,
you must have not watched another game after that.
Yeah. I mean, they were trying to do that wing thing with it. It made it look, I don't know, look like try to separate the shoulder with that.
Yeah.
What was it? That plain stripe? I forget what they called it. But
I've heard two different. I've heard it was a wing, and then I also heard that it was like the trail that Jets leave behind them. And somebody made a good point. I forget who it was, but somebody had mentioned how they somebody told them that they were supposed to be wings, but they were going inside. If they were wings, wouldn't they go the opposite way?
The other way, yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Could you imagine Aaron McNair going like this?
Nah,
it's like this, man. Come on.
Looks like something out of some sci-fi movie or something like that.
Absolutely, man. So I want to go over this logo real quick. So I mean, clearly it's modernized. We got a thicker jet tail. We got a bolder jet shape, and if you notice where it kind of starts to curve, it's got a little bit more of a cleaner curve before it starts to get to that more modernized, streamlined front, dude.
Yeah,
because if you look at the original,
actually looks like a plane, kind of like that little curvature,
like the cockpit, just being
right? Like a straight,
dude. Yeah. Like there's a window right there and shit. I mean, it's beautiful, a lot more sleek. I mean, they didn't have to do too much, and if you go to this slide, you can kind of see the difference. The dark one is the original logo.
Okay.
The dark you see, so it's not much of a difference. You know, it's subtle, but I mean, they did a hell of a job, and they didn't have to do a whole lot. I mean, we wanted the legacy logo, so I mean, if you would have completely changed it, we might have got pissed off.
I mean, this is honestly an example of doing it simple and doing it the right way. I feel like they were just overthinking the last time, you know, how we can modernize logo, because it actually looks like when I first saw the new old logo with New York and then the Jets and then that new football, it kind of looks like a little bit of like a bomber. I feel like they wanted to have like a I don't know, a twin engine silhouette in the middle of it. If you ever like stared at that football, it kind of looks like that, but
I can see
they were
that.
just overdoing it. And with this one, like you said, they didn't have to do a whole lot, but to me, it looks like a jet. The old logo looked like it had a wing, maybe that tail wing, but it really wasn't coming across as being a jet, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe, but this time around, definitely the way it tapers beautifully and then comes off into that little front end. It definitely looks like, and it feels badass. I don't know. To me, it just feels a lot different, like the energy behind it. Or
absolutely. I mean, it looks fast.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It just looks fast, man.
Sorry, I'm having camera issues right now.
No, you're good. You're good. So like I said, folks, this is gonna be a long show. We're actually almost done. Like we're just kind of going over this right now. We're just kind of giving our thoughts. I want to go over these, dude.
Oh man.
Now these are getting a lot of attention on X. Now, the one I like the most is the NY with the jet above. That's my favorite.
That's pretty.
The NY, that's kind of, I feel like, you know, I feel like we've seen that a lot. It's just in a different font.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the oval ones I could take or leave, really. I mean, it's the fucking logo with an oval around it. And most of us are kind of
used to that.
Sick of the oval right now. You know, we can go 20 years without it. I'll tell you the one I don't like, dude, is this one at the top right with the jet plane within the oval.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like looking at that and I'm just thinking, what? I mean, I feel like you're just taking every part of the logo and just putting it in an oval.
Basically, that's what it feels like to me too. But what's crazy is I actually like that one.
Really? I mean,
yeah.
I to each their own. I just look at it. I'm just like, yeah, I just like, I understand like just the jet logo alone right now. It's really simple, but holy shit. Like I forget who said it. Oh my God. I wish it might have been on, I don't know if it was on Gunny's channel or somebody's. Oh no. Excuse me. It was on the, Battered Jets fan show. And they were talking about how that's one of those logos that, you know, if the Jets do real shitty or you had a bad game or whatever, you can wear it out in public and nobody know you're a Jet fan. You still rep your colors, but nobody know who you are.
I mean, I feel like they could have done that one a lot better though, because it's not symmetrical. It's an asymmetrical kind of thing where the rest of the logos, all of the other logos, there's kind of some symmetry to it.
Right.
And I'm not the biggest graphics guy, you know, I'm an audio kind of guy, but to me, that's what I kind of get out of that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I look at it. I mean, I guess you could have made it bigger. It does. Yeah. I think that's where they're trying to go for. Cause I think that's the Joe Namath era, not like when Parcells took over. They kind of they rounded it out more like the football that you saw at the bottom of the logo, you know, over these years. This shape of football, or this oval, I guess what a lot of people are calling it, it more resembles the Joe Namath logo helmet that was on their helmets.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm kind of over that. I honestly don't know what else they could have done with that one other than make the jet plane bigger to fill it out. But then you kind of would have, I think you would have kind of just lost the whole look.
I mean, if they were going to go for a jet and a football, might as well actually just make it a jet, you know, like give us two wings, give us, you know, maybe like a top down kind of silhouette.
Yeah.
I think that would have worked better because it almost seems like they're trying to make it a football with the laces, you know, or like that little seam, that middle seam.
Yeah.
And just, you know, somehow, you know, amplify it to show jets. But
yeah,
I think with that one, they could have probably left it. I do like it a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. I also like the fact that we have a symbol, which we've never really had a symbol. It's always been the name. I, for one, unpopular opinion, I always thought that that we should have a green and white AFL logo on our jerseys instead of having the Jets or the Jets football. I always felt that as one of the original AFL champions and one of the 3 AFL teams to make it to a Super Bowl before the merger. That's like a heritage I don't think we celebrate enough.
That would
kind of, you know how the Chiefs always rock it because they're the first AFL team.
Yep.
So I actually always felt that Raiders, Chiefs, Jets, and Chargers should always have that.
Yeah,
because being the original AFL champion.
That's historic. You're absolutely right, dude. That's a phenomenal idea, man. Anybody that checks this channel out that's got a bigger channel, like mention that on your shit. Maybe we can get the Jets to freaking
get some traction on it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that would look sweet, man. I mean, just it would add to the legacy jersey. You know what I mean?
Boy Green loves
I can see people
the
walking
Titans.
in your background. It kind of looks spooky.
Oh, sorry, yeah, because gorilla style today. But I mean, even with the Titans jerseys, when we did the Titans jerseys, we had that little AFL logo. You know, so it's doable. It's not like we've never done it before.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of those things, do you think they're coming back next year?
I really don't want them to. I don't. I mean, I wasn't alive. I'm in my mid-30s, so I definitely wasn't alive for what was Harry Wismer or whatever his first name was. But I've watched enough Jets, documentaries and Jets content to know if we don't want to associate ourselves with Adam Gase, we definitely don't want to associate ourselves with Wismer because the guy was clueless. I mean, I've watched some of those old games from the Polo Grounds and him and his commentary. And he just, I don't want to, bash a dead man, but I mean, it just wasn't it,
Yeah, I mean, they almost lost the New York franchise because of him.
Yeah,
I mean, the rest of the AFL had to kind of prop him up and bail his ass out. But
before Sonny came along,
I just don't like the fucking colors, man. I don't understand.
They're New York State colors. They look like our New York State Troopers squad cars, so they're definitely the colors, but that doesn't mean they're good colors. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I don't know why we got to go that far back. I mean, dude, I'm not even that old. That's like shit, 20 some years before my fucking time. I'm barely 40, so and I don't care to go back that far back. I mean, the 70s is about as far as I like to go. And when I first got into this thing back in 96, we were wearing kind of a different variation of the 70s. They had the added black accent, and the numbers and all that. I think the green might have been a little lighter with the Kelly green, but yeah, I don't.
Little black accents.
I really hope when they do this whole third helmet next year, there's only really, in my opinion, two ways they can go. It's either the Titans direction or a white helmet. And at least with a white helmet, it's probably the cheaper route if Woody wants to fucking save a few bucks, because you just have to create the helmets. They could go with the white legacy uniform, or they could actually go with any fucking uniform.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he wants to save some money and go that route, because otherwise he's going to have to create a whole fucking locker room full of jerseys, pants, helmets. So, I mean, I'm not saying that he wouldn't. I mean, that's a drop in a bucket to him. But, I mean, you know how owners are. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire. You're always looking to save a few bucks.
I mean, he did want to get a backup quarterback,
Yeah, no shit, right?
And I'm actually one of the people that don't hate him, but I can't give him a pass for not wanting to get a backup,
Right.
I believe that report that he kind of hamstring JD,
It wouldn't surprise me. I'm kind of in the same boat with you. I don't hate Woody. He's not my favorite person in the world, but when it comes to owners, coming from an Angels fan, trust me, it could get a lot fucking worse, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have an owner who really doesn't give a shit, and like Artie Moreno. And I know I can sit here and talk baseball, ladies and gentlemen, but trust me, it could be a lot worse than Woody fucking Johnson. At least Woody Johnson, a lot of times, is, gives us what we want. Wanted new uniforms, we got new uniforms. What else could we talk about? I mean, we want free agents. He goes out and gets free agents.
Yeah. I mean, and he listens. It's almost like he listens too much to the fan base because he's watching.
Yeah.
Definitely know he's watching.
Yeah, I mean, that is one thing with the Jets. They seem to be a little too into what the fans think sometimes. Because sometimes we don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
And I give our fan base credit. We know a lot more than other fan bases, but
sure.
I mean, we're definitely not all experts. We got some.
As a Jet fan, I'll tell you right now, Jonathan, when I sit down and sometimes talk with other fans, especially Cowboys fans, like sitting there trying to talk football with them, it's like, oh, dude. And then most of the time, all those conversations end with, them talking shit about the Jets because it's the Jets. So you can never really have a conversation with anybody. So that just automatically shows just how stupid most fan bases can be anyway.
Green Bay fans. I've been getting at it with Green Bay fans since we've gotten Rodgers.
They're the fucking worst. I lived in De Pere, Wisconsin for 6 months. I got out of California just to get out. Yeah. And dude, they're worse over there. I mean, they are just punk ass bitches, dude. Talk a lot of fucking shit. I mean, it no matter what team you are, they just talk shit. They think they're better than everybody.
Yeah, highlighting that they're owners, and okay, you own 1/8% of a percent, you know.
Yeah, and how much say do you have every year? That's, I mean, come on. I mean, I don't see you guys getting together making the free agency fucking calls and all that crap. So
yeah,
it's like, just shut the fuck up and just go enjoy your brick in the fucking wall, asshole. Other than that, I think I'm good, man. I mean, I love the uniforms. I forget who said it on X. But I'm okay with having these stick around for the next 20 years. And then in 20 years, if they want to go back to the Parcell eras, that's cool too. If you want to do every 20-year switch between these two, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm good with that too. I mean, personally though, I would love that white. You mentioned that white helmet. I think that white helmet with the Jets green would be, even if the matte green, because I remember you mentioned, you know, on X, that matte, having a matte green helmet. I think that would work perfectly on a white helmet, honestly.
Hell yeah, dude.
But I don't know if you saw this Riddle post. They had a Riddle post, maybe it might have been Monday before we dropped, but they were showing them making the Jets helmets before they showed the Jet helmet itself, which was the helmet we have now. Mm-hmm. They had a matte green helmet. I have to at you on it for it. Yeah, they had. That's why I mentioned to you. I think they might even be doing. Maybe our third alternate is a throwback helmet instead of just a throwback jersey. I mean, personally, I want that white helmet, and I agree you can have so many color combinations, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah,
I mean, Riddle might actually have a matte green helmet.
I would take the white over the green matte, but I mean, if the green matte's what we're getting, oh, dude. I mean, that's 96 right there for me. I mean, not that there's a whole lot to fucking celebrate 96.
So tight, you know.
But hey, you know what? I didn't waver. I stuck around for 27 years, man. So,
and it's been hard. Last year, I think it's hurt me the most out of every year. I was a kid when I saw Testaverde go down in the AFC. The year after the AFC Championship game, blew his Achilles, and what was it? 2000, right?
No, 99.
That was 99. Yeah, they're right, 99. Because we went to the AFC Championship game in 98. I remember being a kid and just having all this joy because, I mean, being a Jets fan in New York filled with Giant fans, especially the school I was in, it was the Jets. Even if we didn't suck, we were just a little brother. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
But we were finally something, you know. It felt like you could feel it in the air. They were nervous. My friends were nervous. They weren't talking as much shit. And then Testaverde blows his Achilles or his knee. I can't remember exactly at this moment, and then boom, all the shit talking came on, and it's been constant shit talking since then. And I have friends I went to school with to this day, Giant fans. They're, you know, they forget that they suck too, and they kind of suck a little worse than we do right now. You know?
Oh yeah. They don't even got a quarterback.
No, he looks like Adam Gase. Did you see that?
Or a wide receiver, or a running back. But no, I totally get it, man. When I finally picked the Jets in '96, my buddy got me. He's the one that turned me on. Him and his father did. And I remember going to school. I remember my mom. Believe it or not, we found an old Jet shirt. Actually had the Legacy logo on it. Found it in a thrift store, dude. $2. Wow. Picked that thing up with my allowance. Wore it to school. Got made fun of so fucking much. But when '97 came around, you know, they went 9-7. I was like, oh, okay, because I remembered, you know, they just went 1-15 the year before, and the whole time I'm thinking like, oh God, I should have picked the Niners like my grandfather told me to. And then 97 comes around, we win 9 games. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know, we didn't make the playoffs or anything, but then the 98 rolls around, we win 11 and win the fucking division. I'm like, okay, I picked the right team. And then I remember watching all the talking heads, you know, going into the season. Oh, the Jets are favored, and I'm like, favored to what? And they're like, win the division. I'm like, ooh, okay. And so I'm just getting into all this, and all I hear is about, you know, the Jets, you know, they're up and coming, and, you know, all of a sudden I'm watching these games in '98 and we're fucking winning. I'm like, and then we get into the fucking playoffs, dude, and we just start, you know, we're doing our thing, and then 10-0 ahead of 10-0 against Denver, dude. And I remember walking through the house, dude. I'm like, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, and then fucking halftime ends. And the rest is history.
Even then, I remember I was watching with my brother because my brother was a Jets fan, and he's the one. I always had a thing for airplanes, So that's why I became a Jets fan. I just because I heard there was a team that was the Jets, that was it. And green also happens to be my favorite color, so it was win-win. And so I really didn't understand the suffering until around that time. And then I'm watching with my brother, and just it was I don't know. I that's when I first started to feel whatever that Jet negativity or that Jet fan negativity that early age. I'm like, there's something about this. This just doesn't feel right, Because also you saw the attitude of like Shanahan and them on the sideline. There was something about them, like this cocky brashness that was like, damn, they're not acting like that for no reason.
Yeah.
And then boom.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the 2009 AFC Championship game. When we were up 17-10, it had the exact same feeling. I almost thought about turning the game off because I was like, this feels like when I was a kid. This something's wrong here.
Well, I tell you, I remember going into halftime. I think Lito Shepherd just went out with an injury, and I remember sitting there going into halftime. I'm thinking, "Fuck, dude!" Just like you, I'm like, "Man, this feels like '98 all over again." I'm like, "We got injuries." I'm like, "We got a small little lead, and we got a Hall of Fame fucking quarterback that we got to stop in the second half." Nope.
No chance.
98 all over again, dude. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then the very next year. Like, dude, I thought that was the year, dude. When we beat the Patriots, I said we ain't losing. And I said,
that's what I said
if
too.
Sanchez has the ball one more time, we're playing the Packers, brother.
My thing too is he had a wide open. The seas parted for him. I don't know what it was. It was like that 3rd and 4 in the fourth quarter. It was like when we were getting desperate. The seas parted for him. If he ran that in, he could have ran that in, and he held on to the ball. And I remember hearing him mentioning that in some like interview somewhere, a couple years ago, or maybe it might have been when he was doing some color commentary for something. But talking about Schottenheimer telling him not to run if he saw it open, like him specifically being told, don't run it in. So he held it and was looking and just threw it up for nothing. I think he tried to hit Keller in the back of the end zone and just went nowhere. But I thought we were winning that for sure. I couldn't. I still to this day can't believe it. But nothing hurts as much as this past season. 4 plays in, and I was so hyped,
dude. And I kid you not, man. I remember going into this. Actually, I remember the day of the whole fucking day, John. I remember just saying, "Stay healthy, please. Just stay healthy, guys. Or at least try to stay healthy-ish." I get it. We got some veterans on this team. They might not make it to every week, but if we just keep our fucking quarterback upright, if we could just stay healthy-ish, man, we got a fucking shot, dude. Yeah. And usually in this day, and the earliest memory I have of this is that Monday night 45-3 ass kicking against New England, which happened on my birthday, by the way.
Oh, great birthday gift.
Oh, it was fucking beautiful, man. I remember serving up cake for people on the way out the door. I said, "Get the fuck out of my house. I don't want nobody here, dude." But I remember because
that was Thanksgiving, right? I feel like that was a Thanksgiving game.
No, that was on my birthday, December 6th, 2010.
That's right. We beat the Bengals that year, Thanksgiving.
And so I remember the camera was like a wide shot of the stadium. They panned out, and then the next shot was them panning back into Rex and Sanchez. They were like standing right next to each other, and they just had these fucking looks on their faces as if something was wrong. And I remember saying to myself, "Something isn't right here. Something's gonna happen." And in the back of my mind, I thought somebody was gonna get fucking hurt. I was just getting bad omen, dude. And we shut the bed, man. And ever since then, anytime I see, I kid you not, anytime the game kicks off, the first thing I do is I pay attention to the sidelines. Anytime they show the sidelines, I want to see people's fucking faces. I want to see demeanors, dude. And there was a couple of times last year. I think one was against the Chargers, and I think the other one was against the Browns. But there was just something I remember seeing on the sidelines, like, "Oh, we're gonna fucking lose today."
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably gonna lose anyway. I mean, the fucking quarterbacks we had, but I was like, "Oh, we're gonna lose. I don't even want to watch this shit."
I mean, one thing about the legacies though, Zach Wilson's 2 best, one against Buffalo and had like one of those best games against. So I mean, if we ended up keeping him, good thing we made the switch. Maybe it does something.
Do you think he's gonna be here next year?
I think he's here at least until the end of training camp. I don't think we're gonna give him up from nothing. So
Right.
I think JD's definitely banking on quarterback getting hurt and then someone taking a chance on Zach
I could see
because
that. Yeah.
he still has the upside. I mean, while I'm definitely not a Zach truther, and I think his ship is pretty much sailed at this point. He still has that arm. He still has that athleticism. You can build a system around him to his strengths.
Mhm.
Like if he goes to the 49ers, he's going to be an MVP. Simply because Shanahan can mold a system around him. They can protect him with how good the rest of the team is. You know what I mean? Where it's not going to be like on his back, on his shoulders. He's probably going to have to maybe make a 1 read, 2 reads, and then throw it away, or 1 read, 2 read, go. You know what I mean? They'll throw in some read option. They'll simplify it to him and go back to what he did in college. Which I mean, he wasn't doing anything complicated in college, but
right.
We definitely try to make him become a pro before he was ever ready to be a pro. And he may not really ever be able to handle the pro game, but there are plenty of quarterbacks that have eventually, that have succeeded, even if only for a season, that weren't really pro level quarterbacks, but their teams were able to mask their deficiencies.
Sure. And even if he's not a starter in the league, maybe he can get by as a backup. The guys do that all the time, make careers out of doing that shit.
I mean, he's definitely not. I don't think he's going to the UFL. I mean, I don't think he's going to be out of the league. He just has that arm strength.
Yeah.
He gives you one game like he gave us last season. He gives you a Texans game. He gives you a Chiefs game.
Yeah.
Even the Bills game, week 1, coming off the bench and still able to. I mean, he threw a terrible fade to Garrett Wilson, and that's why that was the #1 catch of the year.
Yeah.
But still, he gave you that. He played it well enough to win. And that's what you need from your backup. The problem is
some other teams will look and see, like, hey, that kid can do it, but the Jet, but with fucking Hackett, the offensive coordinator, they never built off it. They seem like
never adjusted.
Absolutely. It's like I remember when the way we played against the Chiefs. I was like, okay, that's the blueprint. That's how you got to use Zach. Then the very next week, which I think was against Philadelphia, nope.
Mm-mm.
And so when he played that game against the Texans, I think the very next game was Miami or Washington. I can't remember. I go, you watch. I go, as good as he played, they will not build off of that next week, and they fucking sure as shit didn't.
What's it, Atlanta? Did we play Atlanta this year?
That's right. Yeah, it was Atlanta next, right after that. Yeah.
And then we pulled him. I think we pulled him right after that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're right. Mm-hmm. We did pull him because they probably realized he ain't gonna replicate that.
No. And they also didn't want to kill his draft stock because he was playing like shit that first quarter. There's no, and I pin on him more than I pin on the Jets. We can make all the excuses in the world for him, and I know, like, a dude I follow a lot on X, Zoo. He's always making excuses. You know what I mean? He really believes in Zach, but no one could deny he played like shit against the Falcons. So.
Right.
But,
100% agree.
One thing I wanted to mention too that I've been seeing a lot on X, is everyone complaining about the fact that we went back to these uniforms, because they're like, we had the Gase era and then we're going to the Kotite era, but this isn't, these aren't even the Kotite era uniforms because Kotite had the black outline and everything, and everything was slightly different.
Walt Michael era, no?
Yeah, it was definitely the Walt Michaels era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but the difference between these uniforms that we just went back to or reinventing and the Gase era uniforms is that was Gase's baby, basically. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That was Gase's team. Look at all the players that were on. None of them are there, and those are all Gase players. Yep. Maybe not Jamal Adams, maybe not Leonard Williams. Those were Todd Bowles, but that was McCagnon's, handiwork across the board. So even though I kind of consider them McCagnon's uniforms, you know what I mean? And they have the stink of Mac on them, which I'm so glad we got rid of them. They were growing on me, but they were growing on me because what other choice did I have? You know what I mean?
Right.
You stare at shit enough, eventually you're gonna start, see some pretty pictures in it. You know what I mean? Oh, that peanut looks nice.
I was the same way, dude. Every time I look at those fuckers on the field for the 5 years that we had them, it was like, dude, I don't like. I could see the green and white, or I could see the all white, But from far away, I don't feel like I'm watching the Jets. You know, when we had the Parcells eras or when we had the legacies, you know, when I got into it in the late 90s, I could tell the Jets were on the fucking field, whether it would be by the jersey design or by the freaking awesome logo that was on the helmet in the late 90s. But every time I would look at them, you know, during the Gase era, I'm just like, dude, I do not feel like I'm watching the Jets. I really didn't. And I was with you. I started, you know, by the 4th and 5th year, it just started. It's like, it is what it is, whatever. I'm used to them. I started to feel like they were going to be here for at least another 5, 6, 7 years, dude. At least I thought we were going to at least get 10 fucking years out of them, dude. So I was equipped for that. So that's why I was really happy when I started seeing the rumors, you know, after the 5 year that we were going to fucking change. And when Sachs dropped that shit over the summer, you know, talking with Woody and stuff, I was like, oh, dude, it's on.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, man. When they dropped that video on Monday, and I saw that logo, dude, I was a kid again, bro. It was 96 all over again, dude. I'm looking at that logo. I'm like, oh, dude, I just hope we don't suck like we did.
I'm just glad we don't have a football. I mean, we're the Jets, and it seems like even the Parcells logo, you know what I mean? It's just we wanted to emphasize we're a football team.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's a play on New York Football Jets. That's the only thing I can get at. You know what I mean? That because of that name, they wanted to throw the football in, but you don't see the Giants throwing footballs on their stuff, you know? And then the New York Football Giants. So
right.
I'm glad we finally have. I guess that's why I like that weird logo, you know, that little swish in the oval, simply because we have a symbol that actually represents the name instead of, I don't know, we had that, what is it, that face in the Parcells logo. We had barcodes for Namath. That's how I look at it. We had barcodes for Namath because if you look at that football, the laces look like barcodes. Yep. We had that face because I don't know if you remember, but in that, when was it? It might have been 01 or 02, where they had like a character based on that little football face. Yeah.
Well,
so we had like, I don't know,
and shit in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we I guess a pseudo mascot in our logo, and then we have just this failed, but it was just always football. Like, we get it. We're a football team, and we're the only other team's a hockey team, and even they have a freaking fighter jet on their jerseys, you know?
I mean, can you name any other football team in history that had a logo, you know, in the modern era anyway, with a fucking football in it? Could you imagine the Chiefs fucking logo with a football somewhere in there?
I can't. I don't even think there's a football logo on the AFL logo. I don't even think there's a football on that. Or there might be in the Eagles Talons, but that's it. You know what I mean? But that's like a league logo.
That's at least for the league logo, you know. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm glad the oval's gone. I'm glad the football's gone. And, you know, and I'm not saying I hate that logo because that's, you know, while granted I got into this team in '96, they only wore, you know, the legacy look for a couple of years, you know, when I first got into it. So as a fan, majority of my rooting years was the Parcells era uniform. So like those mean a lot to me.
I still rock them.
Yeah, and my Rodgers is a fucking Super Bowl era jersey. Yeah. But I wasn't getting that fucking shit in the Adam Gase jersey.
I can't wait to get one of these new ones. Yeah, I haven't ordered it yet, but I can't wait. But finally, I'm gonna upgrade this Revis jersey.
Is that who you're wearing, Revis?
Yeah, I'm wearing Revis. Yeah, 24. Dude. I don't know if you can see because the camera's almost up, but yeah, 24. Revis is always the guy. Anytime I get a jersey, it's Revis.
You saw the reveal show, right?
Which one?
On New York Jets, on their New York Jets YouTube channel when they were doing the reveal show on Monday.
Yeah,
did you see the jerseys they busted out? Had the 24 on it, dude. It was supposed to be for the year, but dude, I was like, dude, that's Revis jersey looks good in that fucking legacy green, dude.
I mean, I think we should retire the number, honestly. You know, the two best corners I think we've ever had. And I know old Jets fans. There's one old coworker, teacher I used to work with. Mm-hmm. Who grew up in the 60s with the Titans, but Sample. I mean, John Sample may have been at the end of his prime and at the end of his career when he won the Super Bowl with us. But he got two interceptions in that Super Bowl, an interception in that AFL championship game.
Yeah,
he wore number 24, and then Darrelle Revis to have the 2 seasons he had in 09 and 10. And 2008 wasn't a slouch either. I mean, he still was shutting people down. That's when he made a name for himself and brought And arguably, I would say he's part of the reason why Rex Ryan even came over, because he was talking him up in that press conference. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now,
So I mean,
if I'm not mistaken, didn't he have his number retired this past season, or was that a Ring of Honor type deal?
it was Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. Okay.
No, his number.
Yeah,
his
I'm with
number
you.
still
It needs to
being
be
worn,
retired. It needs to be retired then.
Yeah. I mean,
Put it up
best
there with
corner
the number
that's been
28,
in-
baby.
Yeah, right next to Curtis Martin. And honestly, we're gonna run out of numbers if we keep getting cornerbacks like this. I mean, how we got Sauce to fall it. You know what I mean? I thought I was 100% sure he was going to the Texans. 100%. You know, and for us to get him, to get Garrett, I mean, you know, I'm a big JD fan. He's not perfect in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? But who have we had? Who have we had? Terry Bradway. I mean, the stink of Terry Bradway took almost 15 years to go away because he had a front office job all the way until Mac finally fired him. Yep. The only thing I give Mac credit for is firing Terry Bradway, Teflon Terry. But even then, Mac, I remember primetime for the Let's Talk Jets radio. I was big on them, but during the time, during Mac's time, and he was like breaking down how Mac had a plan, and I'm sure he regrets that video because Mac had no plan. Because Idzik too. I mean, what do we have? Mike Tannenbaum just threw money at problems and didn't really strategically spend, put us in cap hell. I mean, JD, since Weeb Eubank, I can't imagine anyone who's done a better job as a GM. And that might sound terrible. And maybe that's just me. Like I was a big Mike White fan and hopefully retained him. So maybe I got like rose-colored glasses because I've seen nothing but shit for the majority of my Jets fandom. But who else has had a draft like that? You know what I mean? I get we can't just ride on one draft, but 2022 is borderline Herschel Walker type of draft. Training Herschel Walker, getting all those picks, turning everything around for the Cowboys.
Nope.
That felt like that to me. You know what I mean? 4 picks, and those are our 4 of our prime core. I don't know. Absolutely. I might be overselling him because I share his name, but
I don't think you are. I think a lot of people overlook the fact, and when you really look back at the history of Jets GMs, and I don't really know who you can point back to really, or look back at to point at and say, yeah, he was a GM that came in, gutted the fucking franchise and started over from the ground up. I can't point at a GM that's done that other than Joe fucking Douglas. He's the first GM in a while that's come in, tore this fucking thing down to bare bones and rebuilt it. And he needed 2 fucking years to do it, dude. And that's why
no one factors that. Everyone's like, oh my God, his first year was terrible. 2019, he had no hand in 2019. 2020 wasn't his. I don't care what anyone says.
That was all Adam Gase. In season when he brought in Demaryius Thomas from New England?
Yep. He got who do he get out of retirement too? He got somebody out of retirement. Center.
Shit.
Can't remember. It ended up not working out at all, but
I know you're talking about, but I can't remember his name.
He got somebody out of retirement. I mean, even with Duvernay Tardif, I know he decided to go into the medical field, but we still retained his rights. Mm-hmm. And we didn't, and I don't know why we didn't call him last season since we had his rights and he said he was willing to come back. Maybe there's something they know that, none of us do. Yeah. But even just with the way he was able to patch this thing together with guys you would never expect, you know what I mean, to even come over here. Right. Guys from all these champion or winning clubs, they may have been on their tail end, but it's not like he didn't try.
Right.
Especially in 19 and 20 where we had basically nothing.
Right. But, and like you said, he didn't have a hand in 19. And honestly, dude, I give the whole fucking league a pass on the 20 draft. It's like, fuck that thing. The COVID draft? What a piece of shit.
Even the 21 draft. Because you had how many kids coming in, or how many players coming into the draft had even played that season? You were going by the season before.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
And some of those kids didn't even play the season before. They took, just like professionals took the fucking year off.
So it's like you didn't have much to go by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I really do judge him based on 21, 22, 23. That's where I'll give him. And am I super stoked about 21? Do we have the best 21 draft? I wouldn't say that at all.
Right.
Zach Wilson, definitely.
Mekhi Becton.
as we all see. Yeah, so we whiff on the quarterback. It's a problem, but you can't take away. Everyone downsizes 22. You can't take away what he did in 22. And I think
Right.
everyone from 22 is still on the roster, aren't they? Like,
Oh,
we also
yeah.
got Michael Clemens in 22. Who else did we get? We got Carter. Did we get Carter Warren? I feel like we got Carter Warren in 22.
Carter
I
Warren
might be
came out in
wrong.
22. Yep.
You know? So Mitchell came out in 22. Max Mitchell also, I feel like. So we still have everyone.
Bonaconda came out of 22, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Bonaconda, did he? No, I think he came out 23. I think we got him last year. He was a rookie last year.
Oh, that's right.
Is he?
You're right. No,
Yeah.
you're right. Nope, you're right. You're right.
But we definitely, I might be wrong about Warren. Warren might have been a rookie last year, but I'm pretty sure. But even still, look at 21. We still have a good amount of guys from that draft. At least, even if we have 2 or 3 of those guys, that's league average. Whereas Mac and Idzik, they were losing guys who they drafted in the first round in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing somebody on X argue about, oh no, they're still on other teams. So yeah, what teams? How many snaps did they get? Are those teams winning? Because last I checked, they were bottom barrel for us, and we sucked.
Right.
So
before we get out of here, brother, I got to touch on it. Got to touch on the draft. So Everybody knows I'm on team. I'm on team offensive line. Everybody knows me, knows that's where I'm at. But I'm not opposed to taking a receiver. I don't want Brock Bowers. I don't want to tight end in the first round. I'm a Jet fan. I'm 27-year Jet fan. I've been burned by tight ends in the first round before.
Brady.
Yeah, dude, I want a legit weapon, or I want what everybody calls a backup for the year, which I don't look at him as a backup for a year. I look at him as the future of the position. And I keep saying this, and I've said this multiple times on X, that I don't understand why Jet fans want to keep doing this same bullshit year in, year out, where we go out and get 40-year-old dudes from other fucking teams to plug in holes on our offensive line. And then even when that happens, we still got questions like, well, we need a backup because, he might get hurt. And we're doing that every fucking year. And it seems like nobody's getting tired of doing that. Like I finally want to do is fill those spots in the draft and not have to worry about it for 10 years. Every other draft, bring in some more depth. Keep that offensive line stacked like you do the defensive line.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. We see shiny and we go fucking nuts.
Yeah. And that's always been our thing. Even when free agency, remember when we got, I can't even remember his name, Le'Veon Bell. I remember being so stoked. I didn't buy his album, but somebody bought it and put it up already, and I was able to download it and listen to it. And I knew, because he was dropping names like catching passes. I think he said something like catching passes from Darnold. So you knew he was coming here. He was just waiting for a payday in one of his songs. But no, I'm with you. I think O-line. I'm more on Bowers than I was before. I saw that thread. I can't remember who did it, but reading that thread and seeing all the different things that he's able to do. The thing is he's playing against boys, in my opinion. Even though he's playing against D1 college players, that's not an NFL defense.
I don't see him being able to stack up against NFL defensive ends, man. That's just me.
There's something to say into how dominant he is. So even if he kind of levels off, his ceiling, I would think, would be Conklin, but we have Conklin already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I do think Conklin is incredibly underrated. Give Conklin a quarterback and let's see what he can honestly do. With the Vikings, he was dope. That's why we brought him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We brought him and Uzama at the same time because Uzama helped carry his offense to a Super Bowl. Conklin was catching passes from what's his name? I can't even. I hate him. Cousins.
Yeah. And they're great locker room dudes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was always a weapon. He was always a safety net for Cousins. And then I think he was on the team when they went to the NFC Championship game. Also, you know what I mean? If I remember watching correctly, I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. And he was catching passes from who was the quarterback that year? I can't even remember.
For right the Vikings?
Now, off the top of my head. For the Vikings, yeah.
In the NFC title game? Oh, fuck.
Case Keenum. Pretty sure that was his rookie year. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure he was a rookie for Case Keenum, and that's where he made a name for himself. That's when I remember hearing his name. He's catching passes from Case Keenum in the regular season and in the playoff. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, we give it to Diggs, and yeah, Diggs deserved it. He basically won them that divisional.
Mhm.
But everyone sleeps on Conklin, and if we took Bowers, I wouldn't hate it.
Right. No,
I
not at
personally
all.
agree with you. I think we should go with I think all it's going to fall to us, honestly.
Really? Ooh, I'm liking this.
I think this quarterback fight is going to be much bigger than we realize. I think more than 3 quarterbacks going to go in the first round.
Okay, I'm loving this.
And honestly, I don't think we're going to have a shot at Odunze. We definitely don't have a shot at Marvin Harrison Jr. So let's say 4 quarterbacks, right? 2 wide receivers, and then someone's going to take Bowers. So that's 7 picks. And then who's at number 8? Who's at number 7? Who's at number 8? Who's at number 9? I don't see them going O-line. I might be wrong. I have to look at the draft order real quick. So I'm going off back of my memory and doing this like backwards calculation. But
The
I
only
wouldn't be
team that
surprised.
scares me is Tennessee. I think Tennessee picks at like 6 or 7, if I'm not mistaken. And
But they need wide receivers more than they need O-line. You know what I mean? They have nobody. They got rid of Antonio Brown. Is it Antonio Brown? No.
No,
Who was it?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, no, but they sent to, what was it, last year?
Oh,
Or 2 years
no,
ago they sent to the Eagles.
Oh God, what's his fucking name?
I
Yeah,
remember off the top of my head.
his last name is AJ Brown.
AJ Brown, yeah. So they got rid of AJ Brown. I mean, we took Corey Davis from them the year before.
They do need some weapons for that young quarterback they got though. You're absolutely right. They do need some weapons for that.
And they can't evaluate him without him. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to go with Rome. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That is fair.
I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be off the board way before them. So the next logical step would be Rome. I don't think they're going to go Bowers. Personally, I just don't think. They're not a tight end heavy kind of team. You know what I mean? I've never really. I can't say that I watched them all that much, but just what I've seen, you know, they're kind of like us. They forget the tight end exists. You know what I mean? So that's what I get from them. You know what I mean? And so I don't see them taking Bowers. I do. And do they really need O-line? Was O-line really their biggest problem last year? I don't remember. So, but yeah, I definitely, I could be just delusional and just, you know, hoping for the best, but I wouldn't be surprised if he fell to us. But yeah, honestly though, I think I don't know if it's a smokescreen. I actually kind of think we're just going to end up getting Bowers. I think they're in love with him. I don't think it's a coincidence that they dropped the uniform the same day that OTA starts and the Rodgers is in the building and he comes for a visit. I don't think that's a coincidence, and I don't think that's a smokescreen. You know, I think we're gonna go Bowers. I don't see anyone else taking Bowers really by then. Maybe who's ahead of us? No, definitely. I can't see anyone else taking him beforehand. So, but I'm with you. I would go O-line first and foremost.
Man,
Bowers kind of gives you that flexibility, almost like a tall wide receiver. He may not be the fastest, but he's still fast enough. You know, so. It wouldn't kill me if we took him.
No, I won't be mad, but I will say this. In my years of watching this sport, dude, I've never seen an elite talent be talked up so fucking much, but yet constantly be talking about slipping down into the top 10. If
in the jump, yeah,
that's crazy, bro. Like if you would have talked about this, if you would have told me about this guy, say like 10 years ago, without showing me any tape, you would have just told me what I need to know without showing me anything, I would have been like, that's probably a top 5 pick. But to hear everything everyone says, talk him up, and to say that he's going to be there at 10, like that kind of, Dan, did you get pulled over, bro?
No. It's a fire truck. It's a fire truck, but I mean, I hear you. I've never seen someone talked up so highly, yet it's not even expected to go that high.
I'm going to tell you, man, I really feel like, and I say the Bauer boys, but I feel like the Bauer crowd is going to be a little disappointed in year one. I think it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for the guy. I mean, the contested catches, not that great. I mean, he's one of those guys like he literally has to get wide open, get the ball, and then be able to shake guys, after contact. Like going up to, to try to take the top off, with somebody literally on his hip. Like that's going to take some practice.
Yeah, I mean, good thing we got Mike Williams, but Conklin already does that so well. You know what I mean? Even Ruckert has a good contested catch rate.
Yep.
And yeah, everyone that I've seen him blow by half his size. So it's not even his speed. That's So now this is me bashing Bowers and saying why wouldn't we take him? But I mean, even it's not his speed that's giving him that burst. He's just bigger.
Right.
So he's got a longer stride. And these guys are like, what is it? Speedy Gonzalez trying to, turn their legs fast enough to catch up. So I think just the fact that he's a man amongst boys in his conference is really what. And yeah, I mean, we've seen that before. We've seen a man amongst boys in his conference. We drafted him to second overall, and he didn't work out. So we saw another guy be a man amongst boys in his conference. We drafted him third overall, and now he's trying to revive his career with the Vikings. So, I mean, we've seen this kind of thing before where, they dominate the college level, but it just doesn't translate. And I know tight end, quarterback aren't the same thing, but I mean, how many tight ends go in the first round in the top 10 ever?
Yeah.
Yep,
exactly.
So I'm with you there.
I just think it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. Like I said, he's got to have to learn to be able to win the majority of those battles, because a lot of quarterbacks, they get a guy that big, they expect to be able to throw it up and you be able to go up there, and have a 50-50 shot. Bowers doesn't really have a 50-50 shot. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he ever has a 50-50 shot. It seems like the defender has more of a shot of getting that ball than he does. So, I mean, like I said, I won't be mad if we pick him, elite talent in college at least, so we'll see how it transfers to the NFL. But I just don't see him making a lot of noise in year one. I just think there's a lot to his game that still needs to be honed. So that's just
I agree with you.
So
I agree with you.
But other than that, that's all I got, brother. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm just glad to be on finally, and thanks for having me, and can't wait to do many more.
Absolutely. And for everybody, we thank you for checking us out here on the One Jets Pod. If you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe, smash that bell notification. If you're listening on the audio side of things, thanks for checking us out all the way to the end. And until then, for Jonathan and myself here on the One Jets Pod, we'll see you down the road. Go Jets.
Welcome to Jet Life Stadium.
Hit it!